How are you going? Here you going. You're right. You probably are doing better than me. That's right. It's NBA Straya, brought to you by B&T Sports Analytics. It's Tuesday, February 10, a.k.a. the Tuesday after the Super Bowl, a.k.a. I'm a very, very dusty James Clements. Oh, it was a tough one, I'll tell you. I am here in Larry Armour Studios. We've got a fun show today because we've done this a bunch of times this season. Essentially, it's nice to take a little bit of a snapshot of the NBA season as it stands, and we are heading into the All-Star break this weekend, right? So we're going to do our pre-All-Star break standings check. Basically, we'll go through everyone's record, see where they're all at right now, Tuesday, February 10, after a very fun 10 games today as well. So we're going to go through all that. We've got a bit of news. The All-Star break thing is crazy because the dunk comp is just woof. And the three-point shootout, like Dame Lillard is back. It's like, okay, sure. So, yes. Anyway. But we'll talk out all the games from today very quickly as well. We'll do that on a knife, oh mate, no mate, Spud of the night, better than Lonzo Ball. I think we'll do some Yenars later in the week. And we'll check up on some of the other Aussies, but not much to report there, sadly, apart from some bad news, which we'll get to in a second. But otherwise, it should be a fun show. I love a good standings check because I just like talking. Oh, really, Jim? Yes, and also about basketball. Oh, really, Jim? But also about all the teams. Where else do you get that, I tell you? Anyway, let's get into it then. Episode 1349 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
The worst of days!
Oh, look out. It's your mate Jim here doing a bit of spruiking. That's right, I love a good spruik. Who doesn't love some spruiking? Remember, today's show is brought to you by the legends at B&T Sports Analytics. That's right, if you're an athlete and you want to improve your game, or if you've got a kid whose game you'd like to see if you can improve somehow, B&T Sports Analytics is here for you. That's right, just head to the website, let them know what game you'd like them to watch, and they will do the rest. B&T Sports Analytics uses in-person or virtual analytics to break down your game and help you get to the next level. They work with basketball, AFL, soccer, netball, and golf athletes around Australia, providing holistic game-based feedback for athletes of all levels. B&T's team features consultants with experience from the NBA, the NBL, the WNBL, the EuroLeague, the AFL, the A-League, Super Netball, and PGA, who are all ready to give professional-grade feedback tailored specifically for you. How good is this? Or maybe you're sports-mad teenager, you're sports-mad kid. If you are a professional, an amateur, any level, it's worth having a look. They can help take your game to the next level. You can book a virtual video or in-person consultation now via their website, bntsportsanalytics.com, or you can find them on Instagram as well, BNT Sports Analytics, right? So that's just at BT Sports Analytics. So go check it out. It's data-driven sports analysis and consultation. They are legends. Let them help you get your game to the next level. B&T Sports Analytics, they rule. Now, back to the show.
Watch out for the shark attack.
Oh, you better watch out for the attack of my Super Bowl hangover. Yeesh. It was a rough one, I'll tell you today. Getting the squids off, I guess our NFL Australia Super Bowl party was awesome. The catfish rules. Love the guys there. Love that they just go, do whatever you want, fellas. And we're like, all right, NFL Australia Super Bowl party. It's the most fun Super Bowl party in Melbourne, bar none. It's the best. Love it each year, but you do sort of there's a bit of setup. There's a bit of planning. And the stress levels when your team is also involved. And we're in the Pats hat again today if you're not watching on the YouTube. Yes, they got their absolute asses handed to them, but I still love the Pats, obviously. And you're sort of doing a lot of day drinking, and then it all just creeps up on you. It always does, right? That's the thing with day drinking. It hits like a tipping point. We're like, oh, jeez. So big thanks to, co-host Gaz. Thanks to legend Mick Muesli from coming down from B-Town. All the other legends there, Jez. We had Double Dummy. All the good folks out there who came down, hung out with us. We had a blast. It's a real shame about the result, but still. So I got home. The legend McKeegan, thank you to to him for the lift home. I needed that. I don't know if I'd be able to have polite conversation in an Uber at that point, but got home. It's all good. Had to look after some squids a little bit because old mate's knee is still a bit, how you going? So had to do a little bit of dadding, but it was okay. We got there in the end. And yeah, woke up just go, just nothing makes you feel your age like a bit of full-on all-day day drinking watching the Super Bowl. But it was a great time, so thanks to all the legends that came down. You all roll. Well, your rule. I can't even use my words good. That's why we're doing a standings check show, because my brain is not working good, I'll tell you. Anyway, let's start today's show with the daily... Oh, it's a whip around, is it, Jim? Today we had fight night, which was awesome. You had Jalen Duran versus Moussa Diabate. Enjoyed that. You had Beef Stew coming in from the side, absolutely swinging after that piece of shit, Miles Bridges. Oh no, somebody stop him from beating up Miles Bridges. Oh, hold him back. God. I'll allow it. I reckon every team, this is like one of my long-held principles as well, right? Like any professional sports, athlete, with all the trolling online and everything now, if you want to fight a single fan each year, I'm okay with it. Like if you want to talk crap, if you get pointed out, you get called out, you have to fight that athlete. This is how this all goes. The same thing goes. I kind of think you can have at least 2 to 3 free swings on Miles Bridges per week, per game. Like, I'm not bothered. Have at it. That guy sucks. Anyway, then we got Mo Gay versus Naz Reid in the Atlanta, and poor Jock got this ripper scratch across his neck. Looked like he got attacked by a grizzly bear. So that was in the Wolves Hawks game. It was absolutely chaos. So pretty fun stuff, I guess. But anyway, so a lot going on in the association today. We'll get to that in a second. Other news, Jason Tatum. He's on the recovery trail. Look out. He's going to be rehabbing with the Maine Red Claws, the G League affiliate. He'll also, be doing a little bit of scrimmaging here or there. Like, these are all obviously very smart baby steps. See how he goes. See how he sort of responds. I mean, as a fellow elite athlete myself who's rehabbing an Achilles, I didn't tear mine. It is weird because I've never been more cognizant of how my Achilles feels than I have in the last, 10 months since I pinged it to the degree that I did. And so the tendinopathy it's crazy, let alone tearing the bloody thing and rehabbing that. So good luck to him. We'll see what happens, but fascinating stuff there for Tatum. And we'll get to them in a second, the Celtics. Cam Thomas! Remember he got waived by the Nets the other day because they couldn't find a trade for him? He's landed on the Milwaukee Bucks. They're like, well, we've got Kevin Porter Jr. already, and Cam Thomas is like, hello. It's like, it's Kevin Porter Jr. at home. Hello. Like, all right, Cam Thomas. What have they got to lose? This might be the most perfect tanking approach, actually, playing Kyle Kuzma, Kevin Porter Jr., and Cam Thomas on the same team. Other bits of news. We're going to have an expansion vote this summer. Yes. I want my Sonics back. Where's my Sonics? Where's my Sonics? Where's my elephant? And also, where's my Sonics? That's all I'm screaming. Because if you are a new listener to NBA Straya, I am a giant Seattle Supersonics fan. That means I currently don't have an NBA team. That means I can freely hate every other NBA team, which is why I think I'm uniquely suited for NBA Straya, because I'm an equal opportunity hater. Yes, Jim, you give a lot of crap to the Celtics and the Lakers. Like, yeah, because someone has to balance out all the fucking ball tickling that those teams cop left, right, and center from everywhere else, right? So we're trying to balance this out a bit. Give me back my fucking Sonics and it'll be on for young and old. I can't wait. You'll get to see me go full-blown hater on everybody. That's the best time. So let's just hope that they fucking actually vote to expand and we get Seattle and Vegas and off we go. Very simple gear, right? Hey, they also did the 3-point contest and the slam dunk contest, attendees. The 3-point comp will be Devin Booker, Connie Nips, Conker Nipple, Tyrese Maxey, Donnie Mitchell, Jamal Murray, fighting Bobby Portis, fighting round the world, and Norm Powell, and one special extra entrant, Damian Lillard. That's right, he blew his Achilles last year. He's back in the three-point comp. Here's an interesting wrinkle. Not sure why. Like, it's kind of neat, I guess. But sure. And the dunk comp is the world's most underwhelming lineup I think we've ever seen. We've already mentioned Jackson Hayes and Carter Bryant. They will be joined by Keshad Johnson. Who he, Jim? From apparently the Miami Heat. I do this for a living. And Keshad Johnson, I'm like, who's he on? Jesus. The other one of which I do like is Jace Richardson from the Orlando Magic, the rookie. His old man obviously won dunk comps in the past. Jason Richardson, absolute weapon, loved him. So that's kind of neat, but wow, does this All-Star weekend just look like an absolute train wreck waiting to happen. The news! Mark Stein was out there talking about how the Dallas Mavericks, there is a group out there, an unidentified Dallas investor group that's interested in partnering with Cubes to buy back the Mavs. From Gerber baby Patrick DeMont. Just looks like the world's biggest grown-up toddler. You just like look at him and go, what are you doing? I love that apparently sources said, to Stein from Dumont, the family remains excited about the future of the franchise and the Cooper Flag era. I love it. Just because you want to buy an NBA team, it doesn't mean they have to sell it, which is fun. So anyway, and obviously, two more little bits that are to do with the Aussies, and they're both a bit sad this week, right? So we saw Jock Landale have an incredible game the other day. I love that. That's fantastic. On your Jock. Johnny Tins Furphy then did his ACL, which sucks. He'd started, I think, their last 18 games. He'd averaged like a 6-6-2, was just sort of finding his feet properly, and he does his knee. It stinks. It stinks. It stinks. So pour one out for our man Tins. Hopefully he'll come back better and bigger than ever. He looked like an absolute beast coming into this season. Remember those photos? They were awesome. And was just getting the perfect amount of run on a team that's tanking. And it's like, yeah, just get him out there, get him playing, and he does his ACL. So that sucks. And the other one was that Dante Exum, who was already out for the season, was waived by the Washington Wizards. Which sucks because that's now our third Aussie this year waived after Do-Up, Bop, Do-Up Reith, and our man Luke Travers from Cleveland. So that leaves an injured Josh Giddey, Lockie Olbrick on a two-way, our man Dyson Daniels, our man Rock'em Sock'em Block'em Jock'em Landale, a very, very old Joe Ingles, Tyrese Proctor, Greeny, Josh Green, and Aussie Matty T, who hasn't played because he's still dealing with like thumb and knee issues. So, yeah, it looked like a really big year for the Aussies, and it sort of just petered off, which kind of stinks. It's just not much fun. Yeah. All right, let's do a quick bunch of game wraps. From today, we actually had some really fun games. You had, I don't know, obviously with the fights going on, it's sort of... This is this is why it's fun to do the standings check right now, because these teams are hitting these weird points of their season, right? They can't wait for the All-Star break to happen. You go down to like Cancun, hang out, just go get somewhere like that's warm, get some sun for a couple of days, and then just take a nice little break, right? I remember we went to the Dallas All-Star game in 2010, and I think we flew back in. We had been down in Cozumel and stuff like that, down the eastern coast of Mexico. It was awesome, right? Was it Cozumel and Tulum and stuff, right? Down there. And you're like, this is great. It's awesome. We go back up and we jump on the plane that flies us into Dallas, and it's like snowing, and you're like, what the hell? But waiting in line was Sean Marion, who at the time was on the Dallas Mavericks. And you're like, this is awesome. And also, Sean Marion isn't wildly tall. Huh. Love you, The Matrix. He's unreal. So that was kind of neat. You're like, oh yeah, he literally just pissed off for like 3 days in the sun of his All-Star break and then flew back. It's kind of neat. So that's what a lot of them do. Anyway, but you sort of look at the games today, like the punch-ons, just a couple of these other weird ones. Like the tank has really set in. Obviously, the big thing that's been going on is like Utah resting a bunch of their dudes. And like still today they managed to win, which is like despite themselves, which is pretty funny. But anyway, today's games we had the Pistons beat the Hornets 110-104, a wildly fun game that had the punch on. We had a bunch of folks ejected. The Hornets coach got booted as well, Charles Lee. It ended the Hornets 9-game losing streak, which was the most fun part of the season to this point, I reckon. They were so good. Cade was awesome. You had LaMelo. You had, obviously, Miles Bridges gets tossed. Like, Kalkbrenner was super handy. It was a really fun game. Miller was really good too. Pistons just sort of did what they do, ground them into dust, and got by them. But the Hornets, they would just keep coming back. They just would not go away. Connie Nips just was going off his head in the fourth quarter, got him back into it, but not enough. The Bulls lost to the Nets, which is hilarious. What are they doing? They're now 24-30. The tank is in, but they have committed to the tank like as per usual, in a really dumb fashion from the Chicago Bulls. So, yeah, good job. We'll talk about that again later. Good job by the Nets. 123-115. The Yaz beat the Heat. 115-111, despite themselves. Bryce Sensible hit this big three, and he's like, oh, should I have not hit that? Win your games. What are the Heat doing? That's a big question there. The Bucks got absolutely curb stomped by the Orlando Magic. 26 points for our man Anthony Black, 118-99. The Wolves killed the Hawks in the end, 138-116 after that sort of bit of a fracas because Ant-Man had 36 and 6. CJ had 38 for the Hawks, but yeah, not great, bro. Not great. The Pelicans killed the Kangs, 120-94. Yep. That's how bad the Kings are. Cleveland won an absolute ripper against Denver, 119-117. Denver just sort of couldn't, like they were up. They blew this lead. Jokic had 22, 14, and 11. But Cleveland, this is what's fascinating, right? Their balance with Harden being out there, having a 22, 10, and 7. You've got Donnie Mitchell as you like kill him dead, knock him over, drag him out behind the woodshed guy. Allen's awesome. He's having a great time with James Harden. He had 22 and 13. They just looked real good. They didn't for a bunch of this game, but the way that they sort of clamped down the Nugs, Cam Johnson's back for the Nuggets as well, which is kind of good. They're looking a little bit healthier, but they just couldn't quite pull it together in the fourth quarter and just looked a little bit janky, and the Cavs got them. It was awesome. Great win by Cleveland. Then, what else? We had Grizzlies, Warriors, an absolutely insane one, 113-114. The Warriors, out of absolutely nowhere, hold the Grizzlies to 15 points in the fourth quarter and absolutely go bang. Gui Santos hits the big go-ahead layup, and off they went with 19 seconds left. They got a big steal from old man Al Horford. And boom, yeah, the Spencers going up against each other, Cam and Pat, which is fun. And again, this is my all-star idea. But pretty crazy stuff. Ty Jerome was unreal, but they just didn't have enough down the stretch. Warriors, huge win, because it looked like they were dead in the water for that game. So good stuff there. Thunder beat the Lakers 119-110 without SGA. Lakers didn't have Luka. He's out there with his like slightly tweaked hammy. Not great. And then the Sixers just got smoke-rated by the Trailblazers. Denny came back. He had 26, 10, and 8. Maxey had 30. Not enough there. Let's do an NBA Straya approved performer of the night.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
That's a knife. I'll tell you what, the 33, 9, and 7 for Cade Cunningham today against the Hornets was awesome. He just like absolutely laid the smack down and like kind of kept his cool when Jalen Duren's been booted, Beef Stew's been booted. And he was absolutely fantastic. Like CJ has 38 as well, but whatever. You had the triple-double from Jokic, 32 and 10 assists for Donnie Mitchell. This is the really fascinating part, as I said, right? The right-handed, left-handed combo of Donnie Mitchell and James Harden. The playmaking ability, the ability to play off each other was really, really fun in this game. So I might have to give it to Donnie. Obviously, 26, 8, and 10 for Denny was really good too. Tamani Kamara came from nowhere and 30 and 3 too. So, yeah, some pretty fun games there. Desmond Bain at 25-2. Nicky Alexander-Walker against his old team, 23, 12, and 5. Some pretty bloody good ones in there, Jim. Yeah, you're not bloody wrong, I'll tell you. Who was Spud of the night, however?
Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night.
Spud of the night. We had, I think it was an 0 of 6 outing from, who was that today? It was Bruce Brown on the Nugs. Not great, Bob. You also got a 1 and 9 from Simone Fondeggio and Zachary Rissache. Yeah, Rissache is, that's a rough one, isn't it? He's only sort of just come back, but yeesh, not ideal. But otherwise, I think you had some pretty crazy other games. I think Nate Clifford went 4 of 16, but he's a rookie. What are you going to do? 5 of 15 for, I was saying Booz Ellis, but my favorite today, because we're back, baby. You know we're back, because DeMar DeRozan and Herb Jones, what did they shoot, Jim? Oh, yeah. Shield. They went and shot 311. Yo, beauty. Who's old mate no mates, though?
Old mate no mates. Old mate no mates.
Old mate no mates.
Old mate no mates.
Old mate no mates.
Old mate no mates.
Mark Cuban trying to buy his team back is just, that screams old mate no mates, doesn't it? It's like, I used to be important because I owned the Mavs, but then I sold and I made some money, and now I'm not important because I don't own the Mavs. Could I own the Mavs again? And they're like, get out of here, Cubes, you weird-looking box-headed idiot. Seriously, that is just super strange. Like, I get it, but who couldn't see this coming? The fact that he was like, no, I'm going to sell the team to these guys, but I'm still going to run stuff. And they're like, all right, is it cleared? All right, yeah. Yeah, no, you're not. Get out of here, idiot. And now he wants to buy it back. Big loser energy from Cubes. That's because this is old mate no mates. It's like, now you're just friends with Mark Cuban. And you have to put up with Mark Cuban, no longer Mavericks owner. Like, you used to be able to hang out with him and go, oh, it's all right. He'd take me to basketball games. He owns the Mavs. Now he doesn't own the Mavs, and you're just like, this guy sucks. Absolute classic old mate no mates. Like, this is probably one of my favorite old mate no mates of all time. It's like this, Michael Porter Jr. having the team having a team dinner without him is still all time. But Cube's trying to buy his team back is big loser energy. How about pantsing of the night, Jim? Jalen Suggs broke up an alley-oop dunk with a block. It was so perfectly timed. It's like an all-time pretty bloody good pantsing. I'm just saying. That was a good one. I forgot to mention Şengün with the old mate no mates. Yeah, that guy. Go Google what he was saying to the ref. That's not great. Not great. Better than Lonzo Ball, Bronny James, and Ben Simmons.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. He's coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. Yakatunis for the Miami Heat was actually really good. He's had a very quiet rookie campaign, but 20 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He went 6 of 10 from 3. Not bloody bad. But my favorite today is the bloke who still is my backup center on my Supercoach team, Maximir Renault, 21 and 19 for the young man. That was awesome. They got absolutely killed by like 26 points, but he was awesome. So he finishes the game playing 38 minutes, 21 points, 8 of 14 shooting, 19 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover. Love it. Love it. I do remember I was at the NBA store, I don't know, probably pre-Christmas. That sounds right. Had the squids with me. So we're just in the city. You go to the NBA store. I'm like, it's kind of weird because you walk in there and it's like, oh, it's the official NBA store, but they really only have like merch for 8 of the teams, right? And I hate that. It's like, this is your flagship enterprise. Every team should be represented. Why do we have a quarter of the store dedicated to the Chicago Bulls? Right? There's 30 bloody teams, man. What are we doing? So, and all that, I don't know what's going on with hats at the moment. Like, the style is like they're sort of already bent ones. And I'm like, yeah, I just mind bending sort of over the years is the way I like it. But anyway, I was chatting to the bloke because this is a thing I do. I'm like, oh, look at Maxime Reynaud go off. And he's like, you know who Maxime Reynaud is? I'm like, yeah. He's like, let me talk to you about Maxime Reynaud. So we stood there and chatted for about 5 minutes about how good he is. So that was fun. Hopefully that guy's a listener. Good on you, mate. Anyway, some good stuff. Some very, very good stuff. I think we could probably just go with Şengün for Dickhead of the Week, couldn't we?
Dickhead of the Week.
He made some pretty sexist remarks. It was not great. Called her, the B word that we don't use. And did it, like, double down, which was the thing where you're like, there's just, you use this probably too often, I think, maybe. And I don't know if this is a Turkish cultural divide or something here, but yeah, it was just not very nice. Really not nice. So Jenna Renault was the ref. And yeah. It was, it's just gross. Apparently he called her a B for the third time as he was being ejected as well. So, yep, that's the Draymond Green Memorial Award for Dickhead of the Week going to Alpi Şengün. Right, let's do the standings check right after we do this here button pressing.
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
All right, so this is where we usually do yeah, nahs, but today we're going to do a big standings check. And it is brought to you by, as is all of today's show, by B&T Sports Analytics. If you want to take you or your kid's game to the next level, you want to get around our mates at B&T Sports Analytics. Their expert consultants are ready to help you improve, so book them in today. They offer Melbourne-based in-person consultation for AFL and basketball, virtual analysis worldwide, an unmatched approach to holistic athletic development, and connections to people and performance pathways that you won't find anywhere else. They're in the know. They'll help you develop your game, and they can set you up with other folks to help it progress even further. So, take you or your kid's game to the next level. Check them out at btsportsanalytics.com or BNT Sports Analytics on Instagram. They're legends. Support them. Go check them out. They can do your game or your kid's game the world of good. There you go. All right, let's get into it. So we've got some really good yeah-nahs from my mate Jez. Sent him through the other day, pre-Super Bowl. It's like some Klay Thompson stuff. We've got Allen and Mobley chatter about the Cavs. I think we might just keep that until Friday's show, which will be the big all-star sort of preview. We'll do a bunch of other ones. So there's some really good ones in there, and I don't want to sort of like step on them while I do the standings check, which is now where I'm just going to talk about all 30 teams. So I figured I'd just sort of clear the runway a little bit, and let's just bloody well go with your pre-all-star standings check. Check. Which is kind of neat. And this is why I like doing it. The snapshot of where we're at in the season. And as I said, the cycle of the NBA season has always been fascinating to me, right? It's all very exciting early on, and you're sort of seeing how the new players fit on teams, and it's sort of like, oh, this is a bit fun, and then you've now got the in-season tournament, you got crazy courts, but now that's just all by the by. You sort of get towards December, it's gotten colder in the States, the travel's starting to wear folks down, you've been playing for 6 weeks, 2 months, and by the time it gets to Christmas, you're like, this is kind of fun, a bit festive, and then you get this sort of really cold, dreary January. Trade deadline shakes things up again, and then you got the All-Star break, and everyone takes a big breath, and you're like, oh, God. And some of these teams have been playing horribly for weeks. Some of them, like the Hornets, have been playing awesomely for weeks. And it's kind of how you navigate that. It really sort of tells you a lot about those teams. And it's why, someone like Houston or a team like the Thunder suddenly just getting a little bit squirrely, not having SGA. What does it mean? What does it tell us? That's what it's all about, right? That's why we do NBA Straya. So, we always start in the Eastern Conference because it's the leastern conference, isn't it? Yes, Jim, it is, because there's not as many good teams. That's right. That's why it's the leastern conference. And the Western Conference is the bestern conference. Yeah, that's right. Please don't forget to tip your waitresses. Try the veal. Right, in the East, we have 39-13. Your Detroit basketballing Pistons, who just got into a punch-on and a game of basketball with the Hornets. 7-3 in their last 10. But also, the defense has been absolutely fantastic. They're still, I think, the second best D in the NBA right now. Via advanced stats, 108.4. And if you look at like the points that they're allowing per game, it's like 109.6, which is, I think, the second best in the East and the third best overall. So pretty good. They look awesome. But they're balanced, like not making like a big splash at the trade deadline. It feels very much like a little bit of like the Detroit Pistons, like, you know, brain geniuses in charge went, we like our vibes. We don't want to change our vibes up too much. We don't want to make a big swing at Michael Porter Jr. and then everyone go, oh, this guy sucks. And it scuttles the back half of our season. Because this is kind of like, they've been so good this year. And it kind of came from out of the blue a bit. They were a playoff team last year, good series against the Knicks. But the big jump that they've taken is because the defense has been fantastic. Cade's risen another level. And now they're kind of like, well, also, we've got Kevin Huerter. It's like, but you've already got Duncan Robinson. You just got it. It's like white shooters, like Pokemon. You don't have to catch them all. Just settle down. Anyway, Pistons, I love them. They look awesome. That was a great win today. Like, they're just really solid and a little bit terrifying. It does sort of still feel like they lack that one extra little bit of ball handling and scoring. And also, they've obviously prioritized not, you know, getting their vibes screwed up by getting Cam Thomas for free or something like that. They also converted Dennis Jenkins from his two-way to a proper contract, which I love because I also just love saying Dennis Jenkins, which is very fun. Pistons, number 1 in the East. Number 2, your New York Knickerbockers of New York City, 34-19, the same exact record as the Boston Celtics. So the Knicks got absolutely smashed the other day by the Pistons in Detroit. But it came after the Knicks had won, 8 on the trot? And so now they've won 9 of 10. They've completely changed their vibes, right? And they smashed the Celtics the other day. It's great stuff. They're looking good. They're feeling good. Brunson feels like he's hit like a nice little run here. Like Bridges is playing pretty well. Cat's just sort of rebounding and doing his cat stuff, but they're not rocking the boat. Jose Alvarado comes in, already beloved Nick. I love that for them. And the Celtics, the flip side of that is like, it sort of feels like game to game. They're like, today we'll have Jaylen Brown play. Or we've got Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench. Look at Vooch. And you're like, okay. So it feels like it's going to be like a little bit of a weird, janky run here from the Celtics. But the fact that they're both 34-19, defensively, the Celtics have been probably better than expected. Because I think they're not giving up too many points, but they're still ranked, I think, 10th in actual advanced defensive rating. But it's the Boston offense, which is still crazy because it's the second best in the league behind Denver. The Knicks offense has been fantastic as well. It's the third best. And if their defense just keeps getting a little bit better, like it sort of has, they're at 1/3. I think it's the 11th best defense now, defensive rating. That's kind of what the Knicks can start hanging their hat on a bit more. And it's good. So it feels like all three of those at the top of the East are proper contenders. Their biggest worries are probably just making sure everyone stays healthy and they get into the pointy end of the season healthy, stay healthy, get into the actual playoffs, and just roll from there, right? The next couple are very, very interesting because at number 4 in the East, it's now your Cleveland Cavaliers. 33-21 because they've won 4 on the trot. Darius Garland, he's now in LA as a Clipper. Harden's there looking pretty chunky in those white uniforms today, but they've just sort of gotten a nice little bit of groove, and they'd been on a pretty nice groove already, right, when they did the trade for Harden. They're 9-1 their last 10, looking good. And it sort of felt like that was like a team that was kind of wallowing and lacking direction. And without Mobley, it's sort of like you still just don't know what's going to happen with this team game to game. But I think the Mitchell Harden thing, like early returns are pretty bloody good. I'm just saying. So that's good. And this is like, without Mobley playing at all. So he's like off with his calf, etc. He's missed 2 weeks. He'll probably just go through the All-Star break, you'd guess. Maybe play 1 game before he comes back. But Cleveland are looking pretty good. And in terms of like their offensive and defensive rating, their offense is fantastic. It's been great all year. 117.2, 6th best. Like the thing will come down to their defense and if it can keep up with Harden there. Like I think they're 13th right now. So Cleveland looking pretty good. Next, the Toronto Raptors. Oh, geez. That's right. So, I guess with Toronto, the thing is, they're 32-22. They're literally like 1 game back of Cleveland right now. They've won a couple on the trot. They had that weird they lose a really tight one to Minnesota last week. They had the 2 back-to-back losses to the Knicks and the Magic. And you're like, hey, Toronto, are you going to beat anyone who's better than you? And Toronto steadfastly have said, no, Jim, we just will not. Right? They struggle to beat the good teams that are better than them, but they are taking absolute care of business of everyone else. 32-22, super solid couple of wins. They've just smashed like the Pacers and the Bulls the last 2 games. Siakam is feeling good. They've made the Zoobs trade. And I guess we'll sort of get to this point of like, the Pacers made the Zoobs trade. They played against them the other day without him in there. That's what I was trying to say. And like Raptors have just sort of like, Calamari Boyle, he's been all right. Looks like the other day he hurt his thumb against the Pacers, so hopefully he's not too bad. But he'd sort of like turned a nice little rookie corner. Was looking very, very super duper solid defensively. Exactly what they need. So offensive and defense, they've been solid. I don't know if they scare too many folks. And like that's the problem with when you're just sort of beating all the other sort of the crummier teams and not killing the better teams. Philly is the other next one, right? So these are the top 6 in the East. Detroit, the Knicks and the Celtics. Cleveland Raptors and the Sixers. Embiid looks unreal. He's like, the flopping is still there, but he wakes up, rolls out of bed and get you 30 and 10. And you're like, all right, that's kind of good. 30 and 23 now, the Sixers. They're 1.5 games up on the Magic, 3 games up on the Heat. So if the Sixers can sort of just keep this going, like remember Paul George has been suspended for 25 games, they should be able to still take that in stride because, I don't know, Dominic Barlow might be better than Paul George right now. It's been so good. But VJ rules. Embiid set out the last game, I think. He didn't play against the Blazers today. So that's the problem you're going to have with Embiid where he doesn't do the back-to-backs. But between Maxey, Oubre, VJ, throwing Boner out there, a bit of Drummond, they've just been able to keep their, heads above water enough. They're very fun. And the Maxey VJ thing is crazy. I'm still pissed about the McCain trade. Don't get me wrong. I feel like he could just be such a big, big, big help for them as we sort of hit these, doldrummy sort of parts of the season. I also just love McCain. It sucks that he's not on this team anymore. And I reckon most Sixers fans are like, picks are good, but I would love just having Jared McCain on my team. Right? I would. McCain played 14 minutes today, hit 1 or 2 threes, 7 points off the bench for OKC. I wouldn't have traded him. Anyway, who else was after that? We have the Orlando Magic men in the first playing spot, and their Floridian counterparts, the Miami Heat, are behind them. So there's like a little bit of a bump for 28 and 24 for Orlando, 28 and 27 for the Heat, right? So there's 3 losses difference already. The Magic have won their last 3 straight. The Magic have a point differential of exactly 0.0. So, I don't know. They've just taken care of the Nets, the Jazz, and the Bucks. They should have beaten the Nets, the Jazz, and the Bucks. Will they be able to beat anybody good? I don't know. But as long as they sort of just keep pointing in the right direction with Suggs back, with Bane there, with Paolo Banchero playing okay, they just need to get some sort of consistency going and then they'll be fine. Miami, they're the sort of strange one. I don't know what's going on with the Heat. Losing to the Jazz today, they're 5-5 in their last 10. They have the look of a team that doesn't know what it is or what it kind of wants to be right now. They killed the Wizards on the weekend, but with Hero out, Norm being an all-star, that's very cool. You got Wiggins, you got Bam, you got your dudes, but it just sort of still feels like it's lacking in direction. I don't know. It's just, they leave me cold, ironically, for the Heat. The Atlanta Hawks, 26-29. It felt like they were sort of turning a bit of a corner as well the other day. And then, I don't know, they beat the Heat, they beat the Jazz, and then they've lost to the Hornets in a pretty interesting one, and then they got smacked by the Wolves today. You've got Jock Landale being awesome. So I guess the big thing is about them trying to figure out these new weird rotations, because now you've got CJ McCollum, you got Corey Kispert, Risa Shea's come back, Jalen Johnson sat out today, Okongwu came back, Jock is back on the bench. There's just a lot of new, different moving parts. They've got Buddy Hield in this team, remember? Yeah. And Jonathan Kuminga. Like, there's just a lot going on in Atlanta. So it doesn't really surprise me that they look very muddled and a little bit of a mess. I think it'll probably take a bit of, a week or two after the All-Star break before we sort of see them hit a bit more of their stride. And then in the final play-in spot, your Charlotte Hornets, yours, mine, everyone's Charlotte Hornets. A 9-game winning streak came to an end today. 25-29. Absolute guns. I love them. Apart from that piece of shit, Miles Bridges. So you got everything you deserved. They have just, their offense is just explosive and unreal, and I love it. Con Knipple next to Miller, next to LaMelo, next to that piece of crap Bridges. But wow. The problem is, with Bridges probably going to be suspended for ages, this is the sort of dumb shit you just don't do. Don't swing. You've gotten it all pointed in the right fucking direction, you dummies. Don't go fuck it up by getting in a fight and getting suspended. That's what you've now done. You had this goodwill. You had all this awesome vibes. Now you're going to miss some time and we're all going to look like idiots. So anyway, love Charlotte. They're fun as. Josh Green's been playing really well in his role off the bench. Gives them a bit of defensive backbone, which is kind of nice. The Chicago Bulls are in free fall, 24-30. They've lost 5 on the trot. But it's okay because this was Arturas Karnisovas' plan all along, apparently. We don't want to be in the middle. All right. So explain the last 14 years. Basically, since the D-Rose injury, you've got absolutely no excuse. But this is it. If you're going to tank, you should have planned before this. You get a bag of chips back for Vooch. You turn Kobe White into crapper Kobe White and Colin Sexton. Vooch has turned into Anthony Penny-Simons. You've got 47 guards. Josh Giddey's still hurt. I love the Yabu pickup, but what is the plan? Nick Richards? Okay. It's like the island of misfit toys there for Chicago. The joke is always they're going to be 3 games within 500. I don't think they're going to get back up to that this year. That's an absolute horror show. The problem is there's so many more worse teams than them in the NBA that even if they tank from here on out, there's absolutely zero guarantee that they have even a bottom 10 record. They currently have the 10th worst record, I think, right now. And all the other teams other than them are probably getting just as bad, if not worse. So great job, Chicago. All the brains geniuses in charge there. You really figured that one out. Milwaukee, 21-30. Don't mind the Cam Thomas pickup because that's just some really good tanking, if you ask me. The Giannis thing is going to hang over their head the rest of the season. They're not going to talk about it until the offseason, apparently. 21-30. KPJ, Bobby Portis, they'll keep doing their thing, but yeah, it's going to be a rough watch, the Bucks, I'll tell you. Brooklyn, 15-37. They've shot themselves in the foot by winning a couple of games here, especially against fellow tankies, right? You can't do that, Brooklyn. You can't lose to Chicago. You can't beat Chicago. You meant to lose that game because that would have kept them on 14 wins, which was actually below the Pelicans and level with the Wizards, right? So bottom 4. Instead, you're at 15 and 37 now. You've won 2 on the trot, and suddenly you've got, back into the 5th worst record. Dummies. Washington are 14 and 38. Lost 2 on the trot. It doesn't really matter. They're playing their kids. Good on them. AD and Trey probably don't see the court this year. Even though they're like, oh, AD wants to come back. It's like, don't do that, you silly billies. Don't do Wizards. They're just going to stop. Don't wizard it up. Let Anthony Davis just hang out and get healthy. The Pacers are now 13 and 40 as well. They just can't get out of their own road this year. The Zoobs trade, I still love that for them, but that's more looking ahead for the next year. Losing Furphy just sucks, a massive one. I hate that, but look, they're planning ahead for next year. Zoobs, however much he's going to play this year, who knows? He's got a bung ankle at the moment, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's the bottom of the East. 13 and 40. It's the second worst record in the NBA right now. The Pacers are in an interesting spot. They do not want to win any more games. Because remember, in the Zoobs trade, that pick they gave up for this year's draft, is top 4 protected. 1 through 4, they keep it. 5 through 9, they give it to the Clippers. And then 10 through 30, they keep it again. So they desperately need to have a top 4 pick, or else they're going to look like absolute... they don't want to look like morons because they've still got Zoobs, but you'd much rather have Zoobs and a weapon and then give up next year's pick, you know what I'm saying? Right. How about the West, Jim? Yep, this is where it's all getting a little bit funky. So, because in the East, as I rattled off, there's only a couple of teams that are actually on a few, nice little win runs here, right? Like Charlotte, Cavs, Raptors, Pistons, and obviously the Knicks. Yeah, Celtics here and there as well, not too bad, but it's all a bit up and down. In the West, you've got everybody, it seems like, is kind of pushing in the right direction. But anyway, 40 and 13 to your Oklahoma City Thunder, 5 and 5 in the last 10. The point differential is no longer, it's still 12, which is huge, but I don't know. Opposition field goals, points per game, still giving up the fewest points in the league. Good on them. Still the best defense by defensive rating as well. SGA out through the All-Star game. We don't know how long for. It's probably good in the long run to sort of cycle in SGA, give him a couple of weeks off. J-Dub comes back, let him run the show for a bit, work Chet back in, see how it all goes, play your young dudes as much as possible. I'm not worried about the Thunder. They just need the last 3-4 weeks of the season to be pointing in the right direction, and they'll be apples. The San Antonio Banderas Spurs, 36 and 16. They've won 4 on the trot. Stephon Castle was named Player of the Week in the West. They've been awesome. They look great. They're the Spurs. Wemby crushing it. Bloody blah. They're so good. They're just so damn good right now. And I think it's this weird thing about their depth. Now they're like Keldon Johnson and stuff are just sort of out there cruising around. They've just come off back-to-back beltings of the Mavs. Castle had 40 as well in the last one. It was awesome. And they just look wildly dangerous. Up and down that roster, you've got Vassell back now. You've got Castle dropping 40s. Wemby's out there. You've got Fox. Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, Olynyk, Cornette, Dylan Harper. They're loaded for bear, it feels like, this year, and they just need to keep on this trajectory. 36 and 16 is a really, really, really good win-loss ratio anyway. Second, obviously, in the West. Third overall. It's basically behind the Thunder and the Pistons. They're unreal. They're unreal. And they're kind of fun. Spurs games are fun. We didn't get to say that in the olden days. It's like Manu's doing weird stuff. Tony's doing stuff. And there's good old Tim Duncan. Wemby does just fuck shit. It's crazy. Castle's insane. Vassell and Keldon Johnson get super. It's awesome. Fox is still there as well. I love this Spurs team. The Nuggets at 34 and 20. That's another team, though. It's gotten a little bit sideways, but they're getting healthier, it feels like, with Cam Johnson being back. Christian Brown being back to Jokic, Murray. They've got the All-Star break. I don't know how many games they play, but they're just good, obviously, because they're the Nugs. Tough loss to the Cavs today. Bit inexplicable, but Still good enough, I think, against all the rest of the West teams that they're not really afraid. They just want to stay the course, keep winning. 34-20 is all right. The Nuggets have gone 5-5 in their last 10. It's looked a little bit janky here and there, but I'm not super worried. They're still the third best, like in the top 3 in the West. If they have their dudes back, they should be able to maintain it. So just behind the Nugs are the Houston Rockets, right? 32-19, feeling okay. Just still feeling a little bit janky here and there, right? The KD, like, he's just super solid. He does his thing. Losing Steven Adams, it feels like it shouldn't have had as big of an impact as it has, which is worrisome. And also having a guard who can play, like, both defense and offense would be good. But they're not quite there, but they're still the 4th best team right now, right? Because they're really solid. They're really deep. Amen Thompson, KD, it's always just going to be a little bit scary. You got the Terra Twins out there too. The Rockets are okay. I don't know about the Şengün dropping big B words on ladies. It's a bit strange, but anyway, Houston, 32-19. 32-20 of the Lakers. No Luka. Reeves was pretty interesting today. You got LeBron James. Offensively, fine. Defensively, still, they're just a little bit, how you going? Right? And I think that's always going to be the problem with like Luka and Reeves on the same team with old man LeBron. The point of attack, you can always get them. And I don't know, but they're still 32-20. They're still a very, very good basketball team. Good job, Lakers. 33-22 are the Wolves. So it's interesting actually watching the difference between the Lakers and the Wolves, right? Like in the Wolves having like Naz Reid trying to fight, just he's like, you know who I hate? Mo Gay. And you're like, what? Okay. But the Lakers, there's like a sort of weird lack of toughness to them. And the Wolves definitely do not lack toughness. And like that's kind of why when the Lakers keep floating around with a decent record, half a game up on this Wolves team, if we got like a Wolves-Lakers playoff series, which wouldn't happen because they're 5th and 6th right now, but you know, if it all shakes out, who would you trust in that series? It's a really, really interesting one, right? The Wolves, between Gobert going, we need some dudes with their focus. We don't have so much focus, huh? And you're like, okay, Rudy Gobert. Ant-Man's busy thinking about other things, probably paternity tests. But anyway, the Wolves, 33-22. I trust them way more than the rest of like the next 4 teams as well in the West. And I think there is like a little bit of a separation there as well, right? From where the top 6 and the next 4. Because we've got the Suns here at 31-22. So this is the Dylan Brooks show. Devin Booker doing their thing with all these role players. They've gone 5-5 in their last 10. They've lost their last couple too of the Suns. You just have those moments like, oh. But they've had such a roller coaster season, it would not surprise me if they turned around and kept winning games. Golden State at 29-25. They've gone 4-6 in their last 10. No Jimmy Butler, obviously. Steph in and out. They feel much more like, I don't know, gettable, I guess, is kind of the vibe here. But we sort of just don't know until we have more ideas of like, I don't know, who they're going to be out there rolling with, because it's a lot of Pat Spencer right now. You've got Curry out through basically the All-Star break, and they don't really scare me still. 29-25, it's probably better than they ought to be almost, because it's like institutional knowledge. But it feels like the Blazers have like this really fun upside. And like we talked about the Blazers like last week. They've now won 3 on the trot. The Blazers look awesome. They're 26-28. So I think, 3 games behind the Warriors. And I feel like the Suns are a little bit of a cut above the Warriors. The Warriors are a little bit of a cut above the Blazers right now. And the Blazers are right there, I think, tied on winning percentage as well with the Clippers who are in 10th. And then the drop-off in the West is crazy. So the Blazers, as they get dudes back, Denny playing makes a huge difference, obviously, for them. Scoot came back. It's just, I don't know, if they're just getting healthier, it's the right time to bloody well do it, right? So if they can stay in that 9-10 spot, maybe even put a bit of pressure on the Warriors ahead of them, 3 games up, and they're like 5.5 games back of the Suns, which is probably a little bit too much at this point in the season, having played, 52 games. So we've got that split then from the Blazers down to the Clippers. So a 26 and 28 Blazers team, a 25 and 27 Clippers team, who has now traded their starting point guard and their starting center, and will probably still make the playoffs, or the play-in at least, because they've got Kawhi. Who knows how much he's going to play? He had a great game the other day. But the other teams below them aren't trying to chase them, basically. Like the Grizzlies are now done. The Mavs are not going to trouble anybody. So it feels like we've got our 10 playoff, play-in teams basically in both conferences, right? I don't think the Bulls are going to catch the Hornets now. The Hornets are, apart from like Miles Bridges getting suspended, who knows? That could throw a bit of a spanner in the wrench, as we say here in NBA Australia. But we've got most of our, like the top 20 teams almost a little bit set in stone at this point. Because the Grizzlies are now 20 and 32, falling off a cliff, 2 and 8 in their last 10. It's all gone sideways. They traded Triple J. They're playing bits and parts. The Mavs 19 and 33. It's a lot of coop de loop doop doop. But again, injuries keep sort of like hurting them, and they're well within their smart brains to, I think, tank one more time because they have this year's pick. 19 and 33. Just develop Cooper, have some nice moments. Don't worry about that. Let the lottery balls fall where they may. The Utah Jazz, it's a soft J, 17 and 37 and tanking absolutely more egregiously than some of the other teams by sitting their good players, even with a lead, and not playing them in the fourth quarter. Now, will Adam Silver actually do anything about this? Probably not, Jim, because I'm the do-nothing commissioner. It's a real great association you got there, Adam. We make lots of money, Jim. Okay. Sling me some and I'll give you some ideas. Jazz, it's a blight upon the game of basketball what they're doing. I hate it. But you're incentivizing them to do what they're doing. So it's your own fault, NBA. Pelicans, 15 and 40. They've turned it around a little bit of late. They're 5 and 5 in their last 10. They've won 2 on the trot. That's all good. Derek Queen hasn't been wildly as good, but they've gotten some of their dudes back. Trey Murphy's rediscovered a bit of form. They are still, what's that, 11 and a half games back of the Clippers. And the Pelicans are the only team in this bottom 5 that's actually going to be trying. So that's not great, right? Because then you got the fires a laser, fires the team into the sun. 12 and 43 Sacramento excremento Kings. They've lost 13 straight. How Doug Christie hasn't been just like left in an alley somewhere by Vivek, I don't know what's going on. That team is horrible, and they weren't even trying to tank this year. It's amazing. They just stink that bad. So it feels like that top 10 in the West and the East is kind of like set a little bit, at least in the teams who will be in the top 10. And as I said, in the West, it feels like there's the top 3 of the Thunder, Spurs, and Nuggets. The Rockets are right there on their heels. Same with the Lakers. But it feels like they need a little bit more to go right. It feels like the Thunder, Spurs, and Nuggets are all like a little bit more malleable to whoever they play, defensively, offensively, where it feels like a lot of the Lakers stuff just goes, we're going to have to outscore them. And then you saw OKC without SGA beat them today by outscoring them. So anyway, so you got that Rockets, Lakers, Timberwolves. It feels like they're a cut above the Suns and the Warriors, who then might be a little bit of a cut above the Blazers and the Clippers, and then the bottom 5. And in the East, it's a little bit trickier, I guess, because you got the top 3, basically, right? The Pistons cut above everybody else. Knicks and Celtics neck and neck on 34 and 19. Cleveland, feeling pretty good about themselves, having won 4 on the trot, 33 and 21. Harden now in the fold. Raptors, 32 and 22, feeling good right there in like a bit of a, hello, what can we do here kind of spot in the 3-4, well, in the 4-5. Sixers feels a little bit more wobbly just because you just don't know what you're going to get. You don't have Paul George. Orlando are right behind them in 1.5 games. They're only 3 games up on the Heat. So maybe that 6, 7, 8 in the East feels a bit sort of more malleable. And then the Hawks and the Hornets in the 9-10. The Bulls, I think, are going to drop off the face of a cliff. Bucks will keep fighting, but I just don't know what they're planning on doing. And then, the terrible 3 at the bottom, Brooklyn, Washington, Indy. So there you go. That's the standings check. What did you reckon of that? That was fun. I love just talking about all 30 teams. I really do. Hey, let's do some game previews for tomorrow, shall we? Yes, Jim, we shall. All right. Game previews. Remember, you can find all of our picks over at Dabble. You can sign up using the link in our show description or our bios. It'll take you right there. You can see all the picks we're making. So we had 10 games today. Tomorrow we've got a bit of a quieter day. So we've got 4 because I think we have just about everybody playing on our Thursday. I think it might be everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 28 teams in action on our Thursday. But tomorrow we've only got the 4 games. We've got Indy at New York. How good's that? A Reggie Miller, Spike Lee bowl. And the Knicks will probably kill them. They're 12.5-point favorites. They'll probably cover that. Pacers play tough, but they're just lacking a lot of bodies, and I think the Knicks will be out for a bit of blood. Clippers, Houston. It's the James Harden Bowl, where he doesn't play for either team anymore. This is a fascinating one. The Rockets desperately need just to win games like this. They're 7.5-point favorites. Houston are a little bit weird every so often, aren't they? So, the last couple of Rockets games, they got over the Thunder. They got beaten by the Hornets. They got beaten by the Celtics. I think they should be good enough for a Clippers team that's literally got Kawhi and very little else, but I might take the Clippers plus 7.5. The Rockets just leave me a little bit worried. Phoenix, Dallas, and the Suns are 7.5-point favorites here. The Mavs, it's getting a little bit sideways on them of late. They've lost what? Jeez, that's a lot of losses. They've lost 7 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Back-to-back losses to the Spurs, Celtics, then the Rockets, the Hornets, the Wolves, the Lakers. Phoenix probably should get them, shouldn't they? I might, however, take the plus 7.5. Just don't know if I trust Phoenix to blow out a team. Let's go, Dallas. Come on, keep that one close, but Phoenix win it. And then San Antonio versus the Lakers in LA. I am going to be taking the San Antonio Bandera Spurs minus 8.5 because I am very worried about the Lakers' ability to stop the 7'40" giant alien Frenchman. And the rest of the team as well, because they're awesome. You can sick Stephon Castle onto Austin Reeves, ruin his night. So let's go the Spurs. So what we're going to do on tomorrow's show is just do a quick little best and worst show as well, wrapping up the day. So it'll be a really quick little video on YouTube and Spotify video, but it'll go out as a podcast as well, so keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, I think that's it. What a show. That was a really fun one. It's good to be back after a big, awesome, fun NFL Straya Super Bowl party. And remember, we were brought to you today by B&T Sports Analytics. Go check them out. Take your game to the next level. Their consultation and analysis stuff is absolutely unreal. I've had a look at a bunch of it. It is really in-depth. It's very, very cool. So go check them out on Instagram or at their website. Book in today. Take your kids' game to the next level. That's what it's all about. Righto. But that's it. We'll be back on deck quickly for a short one tomorrow. As I said, it'll be up on YouTube and Spotify video, but then as a podcast as well, but whatever. Make sure you're following NBA Straya on Twitter, Facey, IG, YouTube, TikTok, and all that sort of good stuff. We had a very quick Jim Does Supercoach go up as well today before the lockout because it's a double round thanks to the All-Star break. So you'll still be able to make some moves. I ended up going from Mikal Bridges to Miles Bridges and it completely blew up in my face. So that's what I get for having Miles Bridges on my team. It was instant karma. Absolutely hilarious. I'm like, oh, great. This is what I get. Anyway, you can also check out NFL Straya with myself and Gaz. It'll be the Soggy Sorrow Super Bowl loss show featuring me being very sad and Gaz delighting in my sadness. We're taping that one tomorrow because there's no time pressure, obviously, to get it up. So, yeah, it's a good one. Rate, review, and star all of those shows on your podcast apps, of course. And big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. Go check out House Hats, Josh Delarentis, Fascinated, Goldmines, Ramshack Alami, Iowa, Section Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show, so smash them all on your music streaming platform of choice. Remember, you can find all of our picks at Dabble. Use that code NBA Straya. You can hit the link in our show description or our social bios and go check out B&T Sports Analysts, B&T Sports Analytics, right, over at Instagram and their website. They're awesome. Go support them. You can also buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya, which is just our Patreon kind of thing, and you'll get exclusive stuff. Someone pitched me a great idea the other day. I can't remember what it was because I probably drank too much yesterday and forgot. So if it was you, let me know. Righto, there you go. That's it. Nothing at the end of this one because it's already been a pretty long one. So we will catch you very briefly tomorrow, you dickheads. Big All-Star weekend ahead. We'll do a big weekend, All-Star weekend preview as well. I think Friday. So yeah, lots coming up. All right. I'll speak to you then, you dickheads. NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would you? And later.
Honestly.